All right, guys, sound is on, and I wanted to wait a few minutes because we have had so many people trying to log on at the same time. I did not want any of you guys to miss out. So welcome to this class. This is one of those classes that I have gotten so many requests for, and as you guys know, we have been listening to your requests in the past, like so many classes. I've been doing it based on your questions and your desires of what to learn. So today's class is really special to me because I did start off in a photography background, and our model who's going to be joining us in a few minutes is also a very amazing photographer and blogger. So we can kind of ask her some questions as well. Of course, at the end, we'll both be answering some of the Q&A stuff. But just so you guys know, if this is new for you guys to be live with me, I know Europe is awake right now. Hello to my European, African, and Asian students. I'm so glad that you're able to be with us live this time instead of having to rely on the recording. But anyway, if this is your first time, usually what we do is we have it on mute for the first few minutes while we stream. Just so that we can get all the colors and the lighting situated and give you guys time to log in. So it is no sound on purpose, you guys. It's not that there's a mistake. We purposely make it mute. And then once we are absolutely ready to go live, once we have maintained a steady number count on how many of you have logged in, so we know that everyone's kind of here, then we go ahead and we start the sound so I can start talking to you guys. Okay, so that's how it works, just so you know. So don't freak out next time if you don't hear sound. That is deliberately just so that we can get all of you guys to log in and be ready when we do actually start this class. So let's jump right into it. This is going to be a quick class because it is not involving makeup exactly. It's more involving the photography aspect, how to get the proper lighting, my favorite cameras, editing software. Well, I don't really know much about the software part. I do everything on my phone. So I'm going to talk to you guys about apps and all that cool stuff. So it's going to be a lot of information. So you guys please have your notepad and pens ready so that you guys can write down all these notes, because it's literally going to be like back to back information. And it's gonna kind of go a little fast. So most likely this class will last about half an hour or so. And then we'll be able to answer some questions, because I really wanna make sure you guys get as much knowledge as possible from this class. So as you guys know, as I mentioned earlier, I started in photography a long time ago, before it was digital. So it was, you know, film photography, and obviously back then there wasn't a whole lot we could do to edit. Everything we had to do was just to make sure that the lighting was amazing and that we weren't shaking while taking pictures and all that stuff. And then of course, when the digital age happened, it became so much easier for us because we were able to edit on the computer and really catch your mistakes immediately, especially if there was an LCD screen on your camera. You're finally able to see the image that you just took, and you're able to delete the crappy ones and keep the good ones and be able to adjust accordingly. The cool thing was that during that digital age, that's when I started experimenting with makeup. So I was able to see immediately if my makeup was good enough or not, just simply by taking a picture and looking at it to see how it looked in a picture. And that's the thing, you could do the best makeup ever, but the truest test is to see how it looks on camera. And once you've mastered on-camera makeup artistry, that's when you know that when you take your pictures and you upload it to Instagram or your online portfolio or website or whatever it is that you're showcasing it on, that you are truly bringing your photos to its best potential, and you are able to obtain a much higher degree of respect from your audience, and you're taken more seriously when you have better quality photographs. In fact, a lot of makeup accounts out there only repost really amazing photographs so you can get exposed to other people's followings as well. I'm very picky and choosy with what I repost. I usually only repost my students' work, and I take those pictures myself during the hands-on one-on-one classes, and I make sure those photos are amazing. I teach my students how to take those amazing photos, and that's why I wanted to teach you guys out there as my online students to have that same you know, exposure to better photography tips. So here we go. First things first, you want to make sure that you have a decent camera on hand. So it's 50% camera and 50% lighting. That's why this class is about photography and lighting. Now, I want to let you know a little bit about the camera that I use. I've used several cameras in the past. My first camera that I used that I was really truly happy with once I became a little bit more well-known on Instagram, and I think you noticed scrolling down my pictures when I was using my kind of crappy camera versus when I was using my really good camera. My first good camera was a Canon PowerShot ELPH 110HS. Canon PowerShot ELPH 110HS. That is the original camera that I used to use. It's this small. It's a little pocket camera. It is not a DSLR. You do not need an expensive DSLR to take pictures for makeup. You are not taking landscapes. You are not taking people running. You are taking, portraits of makeup. So you don't need all those fancy cameras and gadgets. All you need is a real camera, a big girl camera, not a cell phone. So the Canon PowerShot ELPH 110HS was my favorite because it was so little and I was able to fit it in my pocket, and I didn't have to lug around a huge camera when I would go to my brides. And it was so convenient, and the fact that the screen was really clear and I was able to really see my images in the best light. The only complaint that I had about it was, well, two things. It didn't have Wi-Fi, but you can buy a Wi-Fi card, and I'll explain to you about the importance of Wi-Fi in a bit. And the flash was like way too bright. Even when I would lower the brightness in the settings of the camera, the flash would wash off half of the makeup that I would do on my clients. So when I finally ended up getting this one right here, which is the Sony NEX6 camera. This is a Sony NEX6. And this is a different lens. I'll talk to you about that in a moment. But this camera literally saved my life because it has built-in Wi-Fi. So the coolest part about the Wi-Fi is that I was able to transfer all the images to my phone as soon as I would take the picture. And even if I'm traveling and I don't have internet connection and I didn't have a computer on me, I was able to use the images from this camera, put it directly on my phone without having to use a middle step. And then I was able to edit on my phone and post it immediately to Instagram without wasting time and wasting days in between. So you were able to see real time and real pictures from my clients the same day. And I loved that capability of being able to upload right away. So this has the built-in Wi-Fi. Now I just want to let you know that this Sony NEX6 is no longer available in stores. Even when I got it, it wasn't available in stores. It was discontinued. This was a couple years ago. I'm sorry, maybe a year and a half ago. It was already discontinued. So I get it on Amazon. It's sometimes refurbished. This is already my third one. I've broken 2 of them. So I wanted to tell you guys, these are very, very sensitive cameras, especially with the lens. Digital lenses are really, really sensitive. So if some particle gets in there and if you're not taking care of your camera and putting the lens cap back on or separating it and putting your caps back on each piece and storing it in a very responsible manner, then there is a chance that your lens is going to get destroyed, and then your camera will not read the lens and your camera cannot work without the lens. So I have now purchased 3 of these lovely cameras, and yeah, I think with each time I've been a little bit more careful, but shit happens and you break stuff. So as far as the cost, the Canon ELPH, the PowerShot, was about $199 when I got it, and it was still at Best Buy. So I imagine if you get it on eBay or Amazon now, it'll probably be a lot less. This camera was about $400. I got lucky. It's actually about $800, but again, I bought it refurbished on Amazon for about $400 or $450 or something like that. So you don't have to spend thousands. If you're on a budget, definitely stick to the $200 range or less, or whatever you can afford. But I highly recommend getting an actual camera. Stop relying on your cell phones, especially if you want to get really clear images. Cell phones are just not going to do the trick, because once you crop it and zoom in, it's going to be pixelated, it's going to be grainy. You're not going to be able to get that sharpness and that clarity that you desire. So step up your camera game. Secondly, as far as lighting is concerned, I'm going to turn this camera around so that you can see the light that I use. I literally only use one light when I'm doing my clients at home. This is a studio, so it's going to be a little bit different. but this is the same lighting that I use, so I'm gonna turn this around so you can see. Ta-da! This is what it is. It's a ring light. This is a ring light. It's 18 inches. I do recommend the 18-inch rather than the 12-inch because, sorry, we're gonna be shaking a little bit, because it's going to illuminate the entire halo around you. It's also going to illuminate your chest so that your chest is not one entirely different color than your head. So you want to make sure that you're getting, you know, the full effect with the full illuminated image. The thing that I love most about a ring light is that it doesn't cast a shadow. So I'm gonna come in close and you'll notice that it really doesn't cast any major shadows on the face. It's truly, truly amazing. So we'll demonstrate in a few minutes once my model takes a seat here where to stand and how to position the camera and all that stuff, because that's so, so, so important. But as far as lighting, if you, number one, have natural lighting, if you notice when I turn around the camera, I'm right in front of a huge window. So we have the natural light completely flooding some glow all over me, and then we have the ring light directly in front of me as well for that bright highlighting of my face right in the center. You don't want to put a light on the side because it's going to cast a shadow. So if I'm like sitting like this, you see this part illuminated because that's where the natural light is coming from. But then this side of my face is a little shadowy, so you're not, like, look at my eyes, you're not going to be able to see all the detail that you can see on this side, on that side. So you have to make sure that your model, whoever it may be, whether it's your bride or yourself or whatever, is facing the natural light directly, and that there's nothing getting in the way of it, no objects blocking that light either. Another tip is if you do not have lighting equipment, you can, again, use that natural light by itself simply by standing in front of that natural light and taking a picture that way. So let's say my model is facing the natural light, I'll stand right in front of her and I'll make sure that my body shadow isn't covering her face, and I'll take my picture that way so we can have that natural light shining right at her. If you need tips on where to put your model to take that natural light photo, some of the best areas to take a natural light photo is on a balcony door or sliding door or front door. You would be inside the room and they would, or I'm sorry, you would be standing right outside the room and they would be standing right inside the room, but facing that natural light. So for example, I'm in a room and let's say right behind me is the door opening to the outside. So let's say I'm standing right in front of the outside. My model will be standing right in front of me. So she would be indoors, but her face would be facing the outside and I would be right in front of her taking that picture. So literally, what happens is when there's a lot of natural light, the face and the body of your subject is glowing and looking so bright and amazing, and everything in the background looks dark. And that makes usually a really cool picture when everything else is kind of darkened and your model is really bright. So in a doorway, on the balcony, you know, things like that, that's some great places to take a natural photograph. If there is no doorway that has good light, you can use a window. Make sure there's no sunlight directly hitting the face because that could be kind of harsh. You want a soft light. So facing the window, you're standing right in front of the window, they are facing the window, and you take the picture. That's another way. So hopefully you guys are writing these tips down because that really, really changed my makeup game and my photography game. I know in traditional photography, you want to use lights and shadows, you want to set a mood and all that stuff. But when it comes to makeup artistry photography, the last thing we want is shadows. What we want is even lighting in the center of the face, and let your shadow work be the shadows. Let your contour be the shadows. So that's the difference between traditional photography, some of the cool ways of doing some traditional photography versus photography for makeup. You really want it to be even on both sides. You don't want to set any moods unless you're doing like a Halloween look or something very romantic and stuff like that. But honestly, the best way to portray your makeup is to show it directly, even lighting right in front of the face. So as far as the ring light, back to the ring light, I know a lot of you are asking what brands to get. Honestly, a ring light is a ring light. 18-inch ring light is going to be the same across the board no matter what brand you get. My specific ring light is from Diva ring light. So if you just search Diva ring light on Amazon, you'll find a bunch of them, and it's 18 inches. And then there's also Stellar Lighting Systems on Instagram. They also have 18-inch ring lights. And I'm sure you can get generics through China, on eBay or Amazon. Just search ring light, 18-inch ring light, and you'll see a ton. And if you're on a budget, just get the lowest cost one you can find, but be prepared that you have a stand for it if it doesn't come with a stand. And please read what comes in your order, because there are so many times that we've ordered things that we think it's one thing, but it only comes with something else. I've tried to order this camera so many times, and I've had to catch myself to make sure that I'm not ordering the wrong thing. Sometimes it'll only come with the body of the camera, but not the lens of the camera. And lighting too, sometimes it'll only come with the light, but not the base, and not the stand, and not the gooseneck, and things like that. So what you wanna get, if you don't have anything, is get the ring light that comes with the tripod stand, and that comes with a gooseneck. A gooseneck is the piece that the tripod is connected to the ring light with. It's that piece that connects the ring light to the tripod, and it actually bends. That's why it's called the gooseneck. It's really long and it's flexible, and you can bend accordingly. So I'll demonstrate all that once we get this camera behind the ring light, and you can actually see the positioning when I'm taking Irene's photographs. So that's the other thing that you need to get. Also, there are filters that you can use in front of the light. These are thin pieces of cloth or paper or plastic that go in front of the light, so you can change the tone of the light. I use everything white, soft white, so I can get a natural daylight hue. If you want it warmer, I usually edit afterward, and I'll show you at the end of class how to edit. But I usually edit afterwards if I want to get something warmer, but there are warmer filters that you can put right in front of your light, so that everything you get out of your pictures is automatically warmer. It kind of changes the tone of the light itself. And now real quick, let's talk about the lens that I have. I know this looks different from the other girls' lenses that have the Sony Nex 6. The Sony Nex 6 original lens is a shorter black lens, which I liked more. But unfortunately, I broke that lens, and instead of buying the whole camera last time, I ended up just buying a lens. We went to the Sony store. My husband actually went to the Sony store, and this is the closest lens they have to that original lens. So whatever that original lens is that comes with this, that's totally fine. You don't need to get any fancy lenses. This one only looks fancy because it's huge, and I hate the fact that it's huge because it does not fit in my smaller purses. I have to carry it around in my big old purse. And that's what I hate about it. But the fact of the matter is, I just don't have time to shop every 2 days, so I'm just gonna keep with this. And this lens is, it is the 18-55, so it's the E3.5-5.6, 18-55 OSS. Here it is. I'm gonna bring it right up so you guys can literally read what it says. If you need to take a screenshot, go ahead and take a screenshot. If you must have the same lens that I have, which is the most similar to the original lens of this camera. However, like I said, I broke that original lens, and I need to buy a replacement right away, because you know me, I cannot live one day without my camera. I take pictures every day because I teach every day, I have clients every day, and I do looks every day and all that good stuff, so I need this camera at all times. So I made my husband go and buy a replacement lens like within an hour, and this is all they had. So anyway, now without further ado, I'm gonna bring my model so we can actually do some demonstrations. Please welcome Miss Irene Serra. You probably already know her because she was my model before for a hair braiding class. So welcome her back to the show. Hello, Irene.
I'm awkward.
And look how gorgeous she is.
Bad when we're around her.
Oh, stop it. No, it's beautiful. Oh my God, it's so stunning.
It's falling off.
No, it's totally on. No. Okay, so she did her own makeup. Hi. And it looks absolutely stunning, and I'm going to show you exactly how I take pictures of it. So we're gonna go in a little bit of an angle here so you guys can see what I'm doing. We're gonna bring this light forward real quick in front of the camera so I can show you guys how I position myself, okay? And I lower the ring light to literally fit right in front of her face, okay? And I'm going very close. And this is how I do it. Can we raise this camera? Yes. Perfect.
That looks so good just on there.
Right? Isn't that nice?
I hate my ring light, and I realize it's because I don't have this. The gooseneck.
Oh, the gooseneck, yeah. I fold it forward. Okay, so I'm gonna move this up a little bit so you guys can see. This is the gooseneck part of the lighting, which means it bends. Yay! You can bend it forward, bend it back based on how tall or short your model is, and if she's, you know, hunched forward or if she's leaning back. I don't have to constantly move her. I can just move the light according to how she's positioned, so it makes life so much easier. So what I do is I stick this literally right in front of her to the point where I'm not having any like weird shadows on her. And then I make sure that her stray hairs are away from her face because, you know, obviously we can't really edit hair like that if you don't have real Photoshop. And I do not own Photoshop. I have what most of you guys have, which is Facetune, and I'll show you how I use that.
Sorry, my hair's so gross.
No, it's just
You're
fine.
like,
Oh God, no. I just didn't want to like pull your hair. So this is how we're going to position it. Basically, the ring light kind of bent forward so that we can really get that glow on her face. Hair is away, no frizziness. I do not want to see one stray hair anywhere near her, but worst case scenario is if there is like a stray hair on her somewhere, we can always blur it in the aftermath. So, and then I kind of fluff up the back of the hair a little bit just to add a little volume so there's no holes in there. And there's little tips. So I just want to make sure that the hair and everything look perfect because really a good photograph is very much about all the elements of that picture. Everything has got to look good. You can't have one thing going for you and then everything else goes to, you know, so you got to be good at everything. So this is how I position it. And as far as taking the picture, I just take it like this. So what I'm gonna do right now, just to make sure everything's on point, is I'm gonna grab a couple of my makeup items just to touch her up real quick on camera and make everything like absolutely perfect so that when we take the picture, you guys can kind of see some of the things that I do afterwards. So I'm just gonna grab a couple items here.
Look, I'm melting.
And we're just gonna touch up a couple little minor things because what happens is when you do makeup in a certain lighting, let's say in the bathroom where it's a little bit dull lighting, you can't really see everything. And the other thing that I do is in front of a really bright light, sometimes there's little things that just wash off completely, such as eyebrows end up looking very, very light in front of a very bright light. So sometimes you have to add a little extra powder or a little bit of definition somewhere. And then also eyeliner is one of those things. If there's any little mistake, you can see all of it on the ring light. So before I actually finish, like if you guys see my Snapchat, that's in real time. I'm really showing, you know, everything. But then afterward, when we do our real photo shoots, by the way, my Snapchat is DYF-Tamana, T-A-M-A-N-N-A, so you guys can actually learn and see on my Snapchat as well. I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff there. But what you see when I'm doing my brides on Snap is, you know, the actual real-time stuff going on. But what you don't see is afterward, when I'm done snapping, I go back and I whip out my ring light and I start taking pictures and I look at that picture and I nitpick on all the little things that are showing up on camera. Everything shows up on a good quality digital camera. So then I'll go back to that bride and I'll just kind of touch up little things that are bothering me from the camera because ultimately you guys aren't seeing her in person like I am. Everything looks flawless in person, right? But what you see is the camera. And ultimately, because I have 2 million followers scrutinizing every move I make, I need to make sure that my game is on point. So if anything is looking a little off on camera, I stop what I'm doing, I go back to that bride, I finish up little areas that aren't perfect, and then I can go back and take more pictures, and then anything else I need to edit, I can always edit on Facetune. But we're gonna go ahead.
I'm melting in the sun.
Close your eyes. So we're just going to sharpen up this line, especially when you're using glitter. You want to make sure, or any shimmer product, you want to make sure that you're going back with a little bit more, you know, black liner. You know, you guys don't have to see detail in this. This is not a makeup class, but I just want you guys to know what I do before I actually take pictures. Is I just want to make sure that everything's just on point here. You did such a good job with your makeup, by the way, Sarah. Like, I mean,
I literally just patted on some foil and called it a day.
Amazing. No, it looks so good. Especially after Halloween weekend, like, Things
Thank God
go,
for daylight
things
savings.
go cray. I know, daylight savings time saved me today. Legit saved me. Yes. Okay, and I'm just going to add a little bit more definition on the brows.
My brows are a mess.
At least you have brows.
I feel like I don't. They're so like not dense.
Have you seen mine naked? My brow?
Mine like disappear in pictures. They're like gray.
Alright, let's just darken them up slightly here. This is the brow wiz that I'm using from Anastasia. Kind of is a quick fix. And we're just gonna brush it up slightly. All right. And lastly, I love Anastasia's contour kit, and I'm gonna go in with the same brushes that I always use in my classes, just to remove any type of shine that's going on and make everything super, super amazeballs. Amaze! Okay. Another thing I'm going to do is, I know this light is like so hot for you right now. Go ahead and look up. I'm just gonna make sure that
You know, there's so much fallout.
the blue is a little faded. Awesome. Oh, so pretty. Oh.
What happened?
There's a little black on the forehead. Okay, there we go.
I was like, what is on my head?
Okay.
So funny.
Doesn't she have such a pretty face? Okay, so now we are ready for our photo shoot. We're gonna bring that light right back up to her, and I'm gonna show you right now how I position everything. So as far as and I'm gonna go like this so you guys can like totally see what's going on here. I'm gonna show you two different ways to do this. This is P, okay, for program auto. You can actually go set the P, go to menu, brightness and color, this one right here. That's where I kind of decide how I'm going to do this. So right now it's pretty dark. I'm gonna bring it to 0, just so we can see how bright it is when we take a picture, and then we can always like adjust accordingly. Back to menu, white balance right now is on flash. That's gonna make things very, very warm. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move that white balance to day white or daylight. Let me see. Let me test. I think daylight looks good. Or day white. No. Okay. I'm gonna do daylight because it's a little warmer. The cool thing about the color, the white balance, is as you, here, let me zoom in so you can really see what's going on here. Okay. As you go up and down on the white balance, you can actually see the colors kind of switching, and you just stop where you think everything looks best. So I'm going into day white because I like how warm that looks, and I'm gonna set it at that. Now I can actually go in and start taking photographs and double check on my screen how everything looks. So again, we set it on P, we made the exposure 0 even, and it's on daylight white balance. Another thing you could do is if you just go to the down here, you can actually change the exposure really quickly like that too. And another thing is if you go to the left, you can change the shooting mode. There's so many different things you can do here. It really, you know, the sky's the limit. It's truly amazing. Other things you could do with brightness and color, you can go to picture effect. Mine is always off, but there's so many other things you can do, like different modes here. And then there's soft focus. Soft focus, it actually kind of looks like there's a soft light on there. So there's a lot of really cool modes here. Soft focus right here. I don't know, there's so many different things, but definitely check the manual to see all the cool different modes that you can go under. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna bring this a little closer. We're gonna start taking pictures of her and you're gonna see how everything ends up looking. So what I'm gonna do first is show you the angles that I use here. So I go in with the light, making sure that there's no hairs covering her makeup on her eyes. I wanna make sure that over here everything's looking nice and clean. And I go right in and I take the photo. As far as the frame of the photo, I'm making sure that it's from her chest up. And I'm making sure there's just a little bit of space around her head. I'm not cutting off her hair. I'm not cutting off her forehead or anything like that. Everything's looking very even. So 1, 2, and 3.
Hopefully I don't have crazy eyes.
And no, oh.
I get like serial killer eyes.
You know what? I shouldn't have turned on that soft focus because that's so bad. It's like blurry. I never have that on. Like I said, I always have all my like special effects things off because I hate that. Let me show you what I mean. So see how like kind of blurry that, oh, I guess you can't really tell. Let me zoom in. Okay, do you see how kind of blurry that is? It looks like, you know those like 1 hour photo?
Oh my gosh.
It's all blurry. So that's the soft effects. You want to turn that off. You don't want anything making all your pictures like super crazy. So I'm going to go back to menu.
That wasn't the skin softening? That was just soft.
That was soft focus.
That was crazy.
So you want to turn that off. Off. Everything off. Okay, now we're going to redo that because that was horrible. 1, 2, and 3. That looks amazing. Now we're going to play back so you guys can really see how it looks. I'm going to zoom in. Oh, there we go. I'm going to point it down so you can see how even and beautiful. You can see the color is showing up so nicely because this light doesn't wash off everything, and because I did not turn it on some crazy mode. I kept it really simple. We don't have to add any crazy special effects. Everything's looking amazing and smooth and already photoshopped. It looks great. So this is the kind of pictures I take. So now that she has taken her front picture, and I want to, again, make sure every time I take a picture or every time she breathes or every time she moves that the hair is not in the way. Now she's going to take one same exact way but looking down. And I have that. I'm going to show you guys how that looks now. See how you can see every lash, every eyebrow hair in so much detail, and it looks amazing. So that's how I take my pictures. And as far as how close to go on her, like it's one thing to go like this close, right? But I want to show you something. I want to show you the difference between going close and taking the picture or going far and just zooming in and taking the picture, because that's going to make a world of a difference for you in terms of distorting the face. So if I go close and I take a picture of her and then I go far and I just zoom in and take another picture of her, I want you guys to see how amazing the difference looks. So this is her, wait, there we go. I don't want any glare on it. This is her when I zoomed in and walked back. So I'm far away from her, but I'm just zooming in. Then this is a picture where I'm right up against her and I'm zoomed out. So I'm close to her in this picture and then I'm far from her in this. Look, it looks like two different people, right? The eyes look farther apart over here. The center of the face looks bigger, but then when you are away from her and just zooming in, everything looks fully in proportion. So never, guys, never take a full face picture by going in like this, okay? You wanna back up and simply zoom in to your subject and take the picture, okay? So this is very, very important. You guys have to remember this. Now, what I do is if she was my client, I would have taken, okay, here's one picture. And again, hair away from face. Taking one picture like this. And then another one with her looking down. And another one with her eyes all the way closed. And I have all three so I can mess with them and play with them. Another thing that I do is I ask you, what's your better side?
This side.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn this to a 45-degree angle. I'm turning her chair so that I can show more of what she considers her better side, and I can take some angle photographs that way. So now I can go in and make sure everything is looking really smooth and nice, and I can go in and take the same exact pictures with her looking forward, making sure that I'm fully focused, and then her looking down, the same exact way. And now I have, I'll show you by playing it, I have that angle as well. So I have the front angles and I have the 45-degree angles where it's not fully from the side. I can still see both eyes, but this side of the face, which is her favorite side of the face, can be more visible on that angle. Really cool. So now I'm gonna show you guys how to take close-up eye shots. So is this your favorite eye too?
You tell me which liner is like behaving.
Let's just stick with this side.
Whichever one's behaving.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you how I take a really close-up eye picture. Now I make sure that the light is in a place where I'm not casting weird shadows from her lashes or anything. So I'm gonna stick the light right in here. I'm gonna kind of right there, making sure there's no crazy shadows. Now, I'm actually going to zoom in all the way that my lens can zoom in. Here, why don't you come closer? Hi! So we're zooming, and I'm gonna put her hair behind her ear just for this shot because honestly, that's not gonna show anyway. I just wanna make sure that the hair doesn't come in the way. And I'm gonna, so my camera, my lens is now zoomed in all the way that it can possibly zoom in, okay? Now from here, I'm gonna walk in a little closer so that I can still like, there we go. When you see that, when you hear that click, the beeping, that means it is going in focus. If I'm too close, it will not focus. I'm trying, and it's not beeping, which means it's not 100% in focus. So you kind of have to find that middle ground where, there we go, there it's focused. So now she can close her eyes, and I'm going to take that eye shot of her. And that's how I take my eye shots. Zoom in all the way and then back up your positioning until it starts to focus. And then she's going to look straight ahead. And I'm going to take another picture here. And now another thing that I like to do is I like to use my finger so she can follow my finger and I can get a good eyeball angle from that. So go ahead and follow my finger, the top of my finger, right there, beautiful. And I think that this angle for her eye is so flattering. So I'm just coaching her a little bit on following the finger. And now, bam, I took the picture. We'll do another couple of pictures just in case the angle was off or whatever, in case she blinks or whatever the issue is. We have a few pictures. Now, do you guys know those long pictures that I take of the eyes where it's both the eyes and it's like a 3-set picture? So it's both of the eyes cropped and it's like open, closed, open, or whatever. I'm gonna show you how I do that. So she goes directly facing the camera. Again, I stick the hair behind the ear because I wanna make sure none of the little hairs get in the way. I just want her eyes. And what I'm gonna do is the same exact thing. I have now zoomed in all the way. This is zooming in all the way. And I'm gonna make sure that I can back up a little bit so I can get both eyes. And now she's gonna look down. I'm gonna do it again to make sure that I'm focusing on the right thing. Make sure it's focused on the eyelid. And then you can close your eyes all the way. So now I've taken my 3-step pictures. And that's pretty much all the pictures I take. I always kind of start off with the full face, and then I go into like this angle thing, and then I start taking close-ups, especially if I'm really like highly interested in that makeup look. And if it's very detailed, then I'll go ahead and take the single eye shot and the double eye shots. And that's how I just do everything, making sure that the lens is zoomed and I'm not like super close. But for those close-up eye shots, you have to get close, because if you take it from far, take a full face, and you think you're gonna just crop into the eyes, you're gonna lose a lot of that clarity. So you wanna make sure you actually get photos of just the eyes as well, especially if you're really proud of how the eyes have come out. There are times where I don't do the close-up of the eyes because it's like the same thing that I've been doing. Sometimes my clients ask for the same thing over and over and over, and it doesn't excite me as much, so I don't take those close-up of the eyes. But I always try to get that full face, especially if I do the hair too. You want to make sure that the hair is in the shot as well. Now, if you've done someone's updo and you're doing the same photo shoot thing, then definitely get all the angles of the updo as well. So what I do is literally, like, I'll just keep turning her chair so I can get every angle of the updo. So I'll get the back, the sides, the front, the other side, and I keep turning her and I click, 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 so I can get every single angle. And I literally have like 30 of the same updo photo, but in different angles, and I end up only posting 1 or 2 of them, or I'll make a collage of them, and that's really it. It's so simple once you really break it down and understand that it doesn't just take 1 click to get a good photo. You have to take a million, and finally out of a million, maybe a few will end up on your Instagram or on your portfolio, but it's truly gonna be worth it because now you know how to hold a camera, how to do it. Another thing is I wanted to show you is some mistakes. So do not hold the camera way up here to take a full face shot. You're gonna end up getting a weird distorted forehead and eye look. You don't wanna take it from below because then you end up seeing a double chin, which she just hinted at. What you wanna go is you wanna go kind of straight but slightly elevated, just slightly elevated. So I'm directly in front of her right now, and I'm just gonna go whoop right there. And that is the most flattering angle where it's not just like, you know, it's not from down here, it's not from way up here, it's more on their level, just slightly elevated, and that's it. You don't have to go like, right, you know, the selfie camera thing. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how I bring it to my phone and edit it. Let me just make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Also, if you guys are new to this, go ahead and go to my latest post on Instagram, where it says going live now, that post. Oh, my back, oh no. My going live post. So you can ask me questions there so I can make sure that I'm answering everything for you guys. So just making sure that I've covered some of the things. So the best cameras, I went ahead. The foolproof face angles, we just talked about that. How to take close-up eye shots, we just covered that. Best camera settings, I went ahead and walked you through that. Another camera setting thing, if you're very confused with camera settings and you're new to the whole camera thing, another thing you could do is just go into the green, okay, and take a picture with the green, because the green setting is basically, it's called intelligent auto, and it kind of just sets everything for you based on the environment that you're in. But the coolest thing is, with the flash, it's really cool. So what I'll do is I'll get rid of this ring light real quick, and we're gonna take a picture with flash, and you can see that it doesn't wash out your client. Oh, hello. It doesn't wash out your client. You can see all the contour and highlight and everything here. Let's zoom in a little bit. See? You can see all the details really nicely. The flash does not wash it out. You still see the details. So it's pretty cool. That's one of the reasons why I really like this camera too, is because the flash doesn't wash you out. And the coolest part is you could take several different pictures, 1, 2, 3, and looking down. Oh yeah, do your thing. And it's so cute because it's so cute because like the flash literally, like I said, it really doesn't wash you out. And the coolest part is that you put it on one setting, that green one, and it automatically balances everything out for you, so you don't have to go through and do individual settings. But me personally, because I'm into the whole camera thing, I like to personalize my settings. So if you were to be on P and you want to use the flash, all you have to do is go to menu, go to brightness and color, go to white balance, change the white balance to flash, There it is, flash white balance, click OK. And then back to menu, brightness and color, you're gonna go to the exposure and you're gonna lower the exposure to maybe minus 0.3, just so it's not white. And then we're gonna take another picture, 1, 2, and 3. And we're gonna hit play so you guys can see how amazing that looks. Look, how perfect, right? And if you still feel like it's like a little white, actually it's because of the camera thing. But if you still, if you see that it's a little white, you can lower the exposure and make it a little bit darker. So that's kind of, now we're gonna be distracted for the next 30 minutes. With this cutie pie, oh my gosh. What are you? What are you? It's a mouse dog. Okay. I knew he was gonna make a little cameo.
Oh my god.
All right, so yeah, that's, you know, basically how I do it with the flash. Let's see some other components, making sure that we got through everything here. Proper lighting equipment. Literally all you need is natural light or the Diva ring light. I'm gonna tell you a couple of other lighting equipments that I really like. I've tried, a Glamcor is one of my absolute favorites. They have the Classic Elite Light Kit on glamcor.com. And it is so easy to travel with. If you're a makeup artist that travels, it is so easy. It folds down into a little carry case and it's very lightweight, so you can go and fly with it or you can walk around with it downtown, do your thing. Oh my god, he's so cute. And you know, carry it like that. So that's another light kit that I truly recommend for traveling makeup artists. For my ring light, I don't travel with it, although you can, because it will fit in a suitcase. And I'm sure you can get like a travel pack thingy, you know, a traveling bag for it. But I don't travel with my ring light. I keep that at the studio, as most of my clients actually come to the studio to get ready. But if I were to go on location, I rely on outdoor lighting. Or I have my flash, as you saw. My flash of the camera works pretty well. And then what else? Good pics on a small budget. Basically, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a DSLR. You can stick to a couple $100. Save up for a, you know, a real decent camera. Canon and Sony are my two favorites. And but I'm a Canon girl at heart, but I do have a soft spot for Sony cameras when it comes to makeup. And as far as lighting, if you are not ready to purchase actual lighting, rely on that natural sunlight. It is truly the best. Now let's switch seats. You are free. I am going to sit down and show you guys how I transfer, hi baby, transfer the images to the phone and how I edit. Oh, okay. So, okay, perfect, that's good. So, first things first, if you have this particular camera, I know every camera kind of has its own thing going, but if you have this camera, you want to download Sony Play Memories Mobile. It's an app that allows you to transfer your images using Wi-Fi from your camera to the phone. So that is this one right here. It's called Play Memories Mobile. That's what it is. And you open it up and it just looks like this. And what you need to do is open up your camera and you click on the button right down here that says Wi-Fi. So you click on Wi-Fi and it'll tell you, do you want this image or do you want all images on this date? And I'm gonna choose all images on this date. And then it gives you the name of the Wi-Fi that's built in this camera and a password. So then you go into your phone settings, open that up. Hello, open that up. And then you go to Wi-Fi and you find where is your camera's Wi-Fi name. So I'm gonna refresh it to find my camera's Wi-Fi. And once it pops up, there it is, the Next 6 Wi-Fi. So you click on that and then you enter the password that your phone is giving you to enter, and then now you are connected to that Wi-Fi. Now that you're connected to that Wi-Fi, you can go to Play Memories app, and then automatically, I didn't even press anything, automatically now you see that file, now you can open it and all the pictures all of a sudden just show up on your phone, and you can click on the ones you want to actually save to your phone. So I'm going to click on a few of them here that I can actually save on the phone. And then you press copy, and then it'll copy the ones that you like to your phone directly in your gallery. How easy is that? So once now it says items copied, you press OK, and you can get out of the app and then head on over to your gallery to view the photos that you've just uploaded. See how cool that is? I just got all of these directly from that Sony Nex6 camera. If you don't have a camera that has built-in Wi-Fi, there's something called iFi? I don't know. What is it? iFi? Is that what it's called? What? EYE Fi.
Yeah.
So EYE Fi, it is a memory card that actually has Wi-Fi. So you would just use that instead, and that would give you that built-in Wi-Fi if your phone doesn't already have that. So now I'm going to show you how I edit the photos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little closer and I'm going to turn around so you guys can kind of watch me edit while I'm doing it. I mean, this is like priceless information. Nobody ever shares this. This is how much I love you. Can we see? Okay. So oh yeah, you can see now. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Facetune and, wait, hang on. I want to show you what Facetune looks like. This is what Facetune looks like. It's like $2 or $3. It's very much worth it. There we go. I think we're good here. So I have now put up, like you go to here and you open photo and you can, choose the photo that you want to, work on. So here we have a photo, and the things that I'm going to work on is removing redness and blurring our laugh lines. So, sorry. There we go. So what you have to do so that you're not like ruining the whole photo, this is what I hate seeing online, is when people overly edit, it looks so cartoonish. So all you really want to do is just smooth out areas that are bothering you. So I'm zooming in all the way to the eyes, and I'm going to go to whiten, and you just touch over the areas that you want to whiten. And now you can see that I just kind of brightened up the eyes, and I can go, oops, okay, now I can go back to the other side by pressing move, and I go back to the whiten button, and I can whiten over here. So once you've whitened the eyes, you press the check box like that, and now I've zoomed out, and now I have this great bright eyes, where before it was a little bit hazy, a little bit pinkish, and now it's super bright. So you can see before and after. If I zoom in a little bit, I'm going to try so you can see the before and after. This was before, this is after. Before, after, before, after. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And then the only other thing I would do to this photo is smooth around the mouth. So zooming in all the way. I mean, she doesn't even have the same problem I do. I have really bad lines around my mouth. So what I like to do is I like to just smooth the line itself. I do not smooth the whole skin, because then everything starts to look blurry. So just touch over any areas that you can see any little line, and that's it. If you're working on someone older, like Irene does not have any wrinkles under her eyes, but if you're working on someone older that has a lot of wrinkles under their eyes, you could totally just smooth around the under eye area, and it blurs out that as well. And that's pretty much all that you really need to do to enhance a photo. The other thing that sometimes I like to do, but you have to do this very, very, very sparingly because it ends up looking like a cartoon, is you go into details, that button right down here, you go into details and zoom in and detail over the eyeliner and the blue. See how before, after, before, after. It darkens the blacks and it brightens up colors. So I'm going into detail again, before, after, before, after, before, after. And now the eyes look really, really sharp and everything. And that's pretty much it. That's all you really need to do to create a very, very professional looking photo. Very light touches. I am not condoning photoshopping and distorting the makeup look at all because that would be false advertisement. The only thing that is appropriate to enhance in a photo when you're trying to sell your makeup art is only to brighten the eyes, add detail in the blurry areas, and remove some fine wrinkles that are only going to be distracting people from seeing the true beauty of your work. Everything else should remain intact and with integrity, especially the actual makeup. We're not drawing on whole new makeup for her. It's looking great as it is, and this is keeping our integrity of the whole makeup look. Now, that's pretty much it, and then all you have to do is then press this upload sign and save to camera roll, and now it's been saved to the camera roll, and that's all you need to do. It's totally amazing, but please keep in mind when you're editing, please zoom in and only edit the little areas that you wish to edit. Do not keep it zoomed out and think that your finger is going to be that precise when you're editing, because you're gonna end up messing up the whole thing. Like, look, if I go to details and I wanna detail that whole eye, look at what I just did to her, poor thing. Look at the, wait, I'm trying to put my phone in a good angle here. Look at the before, look at the after, look at the before, look at the after. I'm gonna zoom in all the way right now so you can really see. Look at before, how perfect it looked and soft. After, that looks like a cartoon. You guys don't do this. It legit looks like a cartoon. So X that out, do not over detail, only detail minor little things so it looks okay, but that's it. Also, another tip, if you're doing Indian brides, add detail to their earrings and their jewelry. It makes the photo so much, like, look at the difference by touching the detail. This is before, this is after, before, after. Adding detail to jewelry makes a photo look more sharp and amazing. So that's what in that latest post that I did of the Indian bride that you saw on my page. So you can see before I added any detail, and of course that other picture was from my cell phone with no lighting and anything like that. And then after doing your good photograph with your good camera, good lighting, and then decent editing, you're adding sharpness and real detail to your photos. And that's basically it, you guys. Like, that is all. I'm just going to answer a couple questions before we go here so we can get you guys all on the same page. I literally have 5 minutes to answer some last minute questions here. So I think I've probably answered all of your questions anyway, but just, you know, there's a weird light. Let me just go like this. Okay, we're good. Cool. So what we're gonna do right now is answer some questions here. I don't know a whole lot about other cameras. My next camera that I'm gonna buy, and I see this question already, the next camera that I am going to buy is the Sony a5100. That's the camera that I wish to purchase next. Someone's asking, how do you take pictures of your own makeup? I make someone take the picture for me. My husband takes my photographs, and if I'm doing a selfie, then I just do it on my cell phone. But the reason why I want to buy the a5100 Sony is because it has a flip screen, so you can actually take real pictures like this with this camera, but the screen totally flips so you can actually see yourself. So that's why I want to purchase that camera next. Someone's asking, they use Facetune to smooth large pores. Is that bad? No, you absolutely can smooth the large pores. The only issue is that you don't want your whole skin to look blurry. and unnatural. So just do a very small amount, only over areas that are overly bad. But you essentially really want to keep the texture of the skin as much as possible, because that's what's really going to show in your pictures, to see a real texture. I'll try to show you some of the pictures that I have in my album here, so you can see some of that texture that I'm talking about. Like here, for example, like you can actually see the texture of the pores and everything. And the only thing that I added was detail on the actual eye in this picture, but I didn't want to smooth the skin because I wanted you guys to see my own blending, and I don't want it to look like a fake blend. Like, I wanted it to be very authentic. So I didn't really overly, I don't think I smoothed at all the skin. So just be very wary on what you're actually smoothing and stuff. And even over here, I didn't smooth her skin. You can, if you do go on my page to open up this picture, you'll see that you can see little tiny bumps on the skin, which is normal. I have the same exact bumps, but the makeup is what camouflages it. And I really want to be true to what I'm portraying in my makeup art. So I try not to smooth the skin much. Please, please, please try to use products to minimize pores rather than relying on Facetune. But if you absolutely need to, then that's fine, as long as you're not changing the look of the makeup. So that's pretty much it for that. And I'm pretty sure I answered all of your other questions in this video. So if you guys missed some of the, if you missed some of this class, go back to the recording. We will upload it later today, so you guys can go back to the recording and watch it later, because I did answer pretty much all of these questions. As far as the wattage of the ring light, what's the wattage on here? I think it's, shoot, what does it even say? The bulb doesn't even say anything. Well, the color temperature is 5400, but the wattage, I mean, I don't look at that stuff. I really don't. A ring light is a ring light. Like I said, an 18-inch ring light, the majority of what you find online is what's going to be, you know, the general thing that you want to go for. So, all right. Okay, so someone's asking, what about that bling effect that I gave on my photos? That is a different app altogether. That is called Lens Light. This one here is called Lens Light. You just open that up. It's visual effects, and you go to new, and we're gonna choose a picture to add bling to. So let me find a good picture that I can add some bling to here. Here, a picture of nail decals. So all you have to do is go to effects, and you go to lens flares, and you pick whatever flare you like. I like this one, and I'm gonna add that to the photo. So wherever you want to put that, you can put it. You can make it big, you can make it small, you can move it around, you can edit the brightness of it and all that stuff. So that's the app. It's called Lens Light. Sorry, I knew that was a very popular question, so I meant to say that earlier. What about umbrella lights and soft boxes? I don't really use that. I'm just teaching you this class based on what I for real use on my clients for their photos at my studio. So I really don't use umbrella lights and soft boxes at all, but if you want to, what you would do is you'd put the ring light in the middle, and you put one other light on one side and another light on the other side, so you have all three filled in. But what I like to do is only have a ring light in the center, because I want my contour to show, and if you put too much light on the side of your face, your contour goes away. So, and I'm known for my contouring, so I only focus on having one light in the center. And I think I have answered everything else. Yep. Wow, cool. I have answered pretty much everything in this class. So you can go back to check out some of my tips if you missed anything. We will upload it very soon. Check out all the amazing classes that you guys can see right now on the homepage of dressyourfacelive.com. There are so many amazing classes. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, today is Sunday, and I think this is the best day to brush up on education and studying and all that good stuff before the busy work week begins again. So definitely take time out today to go ahead and finish up on your classes before a lot of them expire, okay? And the other good news is all of my classes from here on out are going to be staying up for a whole month. So if you don't have time to watch this later today, you can watch it 2 weeks from now and it'll still be up, okay? Mwah. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!